So today we're going to be getting this ignition control module and this ignition coil installed. So the first thing I'm going to do is disconnect the battery. You know what? It's easier to do this side. Maybe. Go now. There we go. That's out of the way. Now, next thing is getting this little intake out of the way. That's there. Let me get this vacuum line out here. And unplug the air temperature sensor. So I'm going to have to be careful because the mass airflow sensor is still plugged in. Not anymore. Nope. I forgot the tube for the vent. Alright, there we go. I'm actually going to set this right there. Now, the ignition coil is right down there underneath all this crap. But still accessible, I guess. Move all these out of the way. And there it is. Right there. Yep, I told you guys to get out of the way. So there's a couple ways you can do this. Is if you were just doing the ignition control module, there's a screw there and another screw over there, and then that and the little metal plate will come off of it that way. But these ignition coils are actually riveted onto this whole metal bracket behind it. So I'm going to take it off by this bolt right here, and then another one down here. So let me get this unplugged. Come on. Don't break on me. Okay, got that one out, and now the mission control module 1. I don't know why, but I'm always nervous to start taking these electrical connectors off, especially if they've never been taken off before, and they're almost 30 years old, so they're probably getting pretty brittle. There you go. So yeah, there's that little stud there that'll come out, and then the other one is over there. That's going to be the tricky part, because I'm not even sure if I can get anything in there, really. There's also a ground or a wire that's connected to it too. So that's going to be interesting to try to get that off of there. Huh. Let me try playing around with this a little bit. So I got the whole unit out right here. Not very hard at all. You might be Kind of limited to room, but my hands are pretty big and I manage. But just be careful when you take this the stud off. Over here there is 3 wires that do have to go back on there. So the stud goes in first, those wires go on there, and then the nut that was in the front of that goes on there. And the same thing with this bracket. There's a stud with a nut on there, and this other little black bracket that goes on there first, and then the other nut goes in front of that. But you know, overall it's very, very easy so far. So this metal plate here behind this control module I guess it acts like a ground. So I'm gonna wire brush up that one. I'm gonna wire brush the whole other bracket that holds the ignition coil on. So I gotta find a way to keep this from moving. I might just take the ignition control module off, put like a clamp right there, and just come over here with my grinder and just take these little rivets off there, and we should be good. So I got the old module off. The screw size for these is 7/32, and here's this little bracket that you got to wire brush and clean up. And couldn't find a clamp, so might as well use vice grips, right? So then, you can't see it, but there's 2 little rivets there, and then there's 2 on the other side. I'm just going to zip those off with a grinder real quick. Flip this around. So I might either have to just tap that out the rest of the way, or I might have to actually drill it. Let me see if I can't find something and just try hammering it out. Or actually, you know what? I might be able to just pry up in there and see if it'll separate. Might have to go drill these bad boys out. Well, that's gonna suck. Well, I couldn't find any drill bits because my tools are all over the place. I know I have them somewheres, but so what I did is I cut the outside of the rivets and then just kind of separated these pieces just a little bit so I can get access to the rivet that was still on this side. Zipped it out with the grinder, and then the little pieces that were in here just popped right out. So this bracket, once you do that, will turn into 2 pieces, and then it just goes like that. The new coil sits in there, and then you just put the screws and the nuts on. But I am going to wire brush all these up, and then maybe strapping this bad boy on. Hopefully getting everything cleaned up, put this whole unit back together, and put it in. Alright, so I got the new coil out. And just a little note, these new screws that come with it are an Allen head, so make sure you have one of those while you're out here. And I forgot to mention, when I cut these little rivets out on the inside, I actually cut this whole bracket off of the bottom of the coil part right here. You can see where I cut it right there, and then the coil just slid off this little square piece here. So you do that, get that out of the way, and then you'll be able to bend these out a little bit, get access to that little thing in there, stick a cutting wheel in there, cut them off, boom, you're done. So you don't have to worry about drilling anything out, and honestly, in my opinion, that's 10 times faster. So I'm going to get this bracket bolted down on here real quick. It's not an 8mm. Look at that. Normally I would put Loctite on these, but these do look like some sort of lock-in washers anyway, plus I also couldn't find my Loctite. So then the nut size on the back of these is 9mm, but I'm not sure what the stock ignition coil comes with. It might be the same thing. Honestly, I don't know. Alright, ignition coil is all in, all nice and tightened down. And if you want actually a performance ignition coil, I would get this one. It was around like $67, which, you know, is probably almost around a AC Delco one anyway. You can find cheap ones for like $20-$30, but I would definitely go this route. And after having a minor heart attack, because I forgot where I put these screws for the ignition control module, but now that that's all together, I'm going to get this new one all mounted on, and I can start putting everything back together. So you'll see this stuff right here that comes with the sensor. This is not dielectric grease. Do not use this on any connector or anything. This is actually thermal paste that goes in between this little metal bracket in the back of this sensor, and it's there to stop the heat from cooking this thing. That's usually why these things fail. Either the heat gets to it or vibrations, knock something loose on the inside. So really simple. Put the paste on the back of there. I've seen some people that put it behind this, and then on the back side of this bracket before it goes on to this one. I might do that, see if I have enough. Definitely looks like it. So let me get this set up real quick. Alright, so I got the whole assembly back together here. Everything looks good, nice and tight, cleaned up. Make sure these are snug, but do not over tighten them. Same thing with these. I was a little bit more aggressive on these just because I wanted those two sides of the bracket to make good contact with this piece of metal here. Those 3 wires I got all cleaned up. So now I just gotta try fishing this whole assembly back in there, which shouldn't be too hard. And then obviously you'll know once you take this off, you'll have this nut with the stud and this little bracket that goes on the left side of the top of the whole assembly bracket right there. Everybody's got to keep driving up and down this goddamn road. So then that goes on, and then you'll have the nut in the other bracket that holds this up. And then the other one, you just have the stud with the nut. Screw it in, put those 3 wires on, and then screw the other nut onto those. Plug everything back in. Put this air duct back on and start it up. Yeah, it's all back together. So wasn't too hard. Very, very simple. You just gotta move, all the stuff out of the way. What I did is I started this the nut with the stud first, just so it would stay in place, and then realigned the bracket over there, got that one in place, snug them down, double checked, made sure everything was plugged in. I made sure none of the vacuum lines or anything anywhere else came undone. Everything is set with that, so I just got to throw this air duct back on and hook the battery back up, and hopefully it starts up. I've seen some videos where people replace these and it kind of like doesn't start right away, or backfires maybe, but we'll see. Everything's back together, but before I start this up, I just want to show you something. I replaced this radiator cap yesterday, and I'm pretty sure I found out why my coolant temperature sensor might be going wacky. There's some sort of debris stuff in there, and it don't look too bad, but the stuff I wiped off of the original cap definitely had some dirt and stuff in there. But supposedly this has had its coolant flush already, but who knows. Now let me find the set of keys that I actually need. So everything works its way to the bottom of my pocket. Oh my god, this car is literally 90 degrees out today, and oh my god, it's like 200 in here. Let's see what we get. Right up. Sweet. That ain't bad. This is the first time I started this car today. And like I said, when I first got it, this thing would just crank. And then once, even with my foot on the gas pedal a little bit, it just kept cranking, and then it would finally start up. But maybe that was one of the issues. But I'm leaning more towards, obviously, the fuel pump, or I'm going to start with the fuel pressure regulator first. you know, do that. Oh, that's weird. Usually when you disconnect the battery, the check engine light will shut off. Huh. I wonder if that's the malfunction, like it's just stuck on or something. But anyway, that's how you change your ignition coil and the ignition control module in any 93 to 97 F-body Camaro or Firebird. Not sure about the Impalas or anything else. It should be the same process, but so you know, please like this video. Please, you know, keep subscribing. We're gonna be doing some more videos, you know, digging into this thing, and let's just see what we can get into.